Hello, vinyl community. Do you remember me? It's Bill, Bill Vinyless, and I'm here to do a second quarter 2025 acquisitions and divestments. Now, you'll be saying, but Bill, it's almost the end of September. What you've been playing at, and where have you been? Hope you've got a note from your mum so that you can be excused for all this absence from the vinyl community. But yeah, so things have been a bit busy, uh, primarily, and I'll show you some photos here, uh, because my daughter got wed. She had her wedding to Peter at the end of June. So that's my first excuse. And then I think was on holiday and I'm involved in some charity stuff. So it's been busy, busy, busy. But yeah, the sun's shining. It's the end of September. The sun is shining in Aberdeen. Yeah. So let's get on with it. So I think it's a while since I've divested anything. I shall show some screenshots, but I managed to get rid of John Williams, a sort of compilation. I'm not sure if it was on Reader's Digest or a cheap KTEL type teledisc or something like that album or record label, and it was something that I had as a gift from my sister-in-law, and I've listened to it. I love Cavatina, and there's a couple of other tracks on the double album that I quite enjoyed, but yeah, I'm not really listening to it, so it was shown the door. And then the next one is Little Feat's last record album. And say, that's strange, Bill. You're a big blues fan, so you love Little Feat. And yes, I do. So I got one of these five album, five original albums sets, and the last record album was included on that. So it was also in CD. So I've uh, divested that one. Then the next one was one from a gift from a friend of mine. He gave me a lot of uh, folk rock albums, and in amongst it was Wings' London Town. Now, I'm a huge Beatles fan, and I like Wings, but I think if you have Band on the Run and the sort of greatest hits album, then you've got enough in your collection. So out went the vinyl copy of London Town, and then another CD went, and that was Down on the Upside by Soundgarden. Yeah, it's another one that if you're not listening to something or you're not intrigued to say, oh, yeah, I should listen to that, then what's it doing in your collection? So Down on the Upside went out, and Super Unknown by Soundgarden is my only Soundgarden album in the collection. So let's see. Let's go on and speak about, well, before I speak about the acquisitions, suppose this was an acquisition. Don't know if you can read that, it's a bit floppy, but this is Herb Alpert and his friends, and it's a promotional flexi disc with Brian Matthew introducing excerpts from Herb Alpert and his friends. And it's a Reader's Digest free edition disc. It tells you do not place on top of another record, but place directly on the turntable. So I think there's about half a dozen artists on this and quite wide ranging And yeah, it fell out of another second-hand album that I'd bought. So I've been meaning to speak about that one for a little while. And then I'm a keen amateur artist, and my art teacher, Mike Sampson, he spoke of the presidents of the United States of America. And he said they're a great band. Not sure if this is their debut album or not, but yeah, there's some great songs on here. Kitty, uh, and which includes references to the cat digging into his leg and things like that. There's a boll weevil song, so I think that's a pest for the cotton industry. I think Eddie Cochran did a song about the boll weevil. I think there's probably a few. And then June Buggy is quite good, and Peaches. And then the one that I love is Back Porch. The whole album has got a driving drum and driving bass feel to it, very up tempo, some parent advisory lyrics. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. And I think Back Porch makes reference to about 3 other songs that are earlier in the album. But yeah, thoroughly recommend this. Is it a post-punk album? What's the genre? You tell me. Answers in the comments below. And then, totally different, the soundtrack to The Great Gatsby. The album is produced by Baz Luhrmann, and we've got Back to Black, Beyonce. We've got Bang Bang by will.i.am, Young and Beautiful by Lana Del Rey, and then really nice. I thoroughly recommend you seeing the film of the latest incarnation of The Great Gatsby, and it's set in the late 20s, early 30s. Yeah, the great American dream, and yeah, the Great Gatsby is a great story. It's one of my daughter's favorites. I think I did my own album cover, well, not no book cover, which I'll maybe slot in here. And my daughter says it's great having a dad that's an artist, because then you get a custom cover for her favorite book. But yes, we had Brian Ferry and the Brian Ferry Orchestra doing Love is the Drug. Love is the Drug, cover of the famous Roxy Music album. But Emily Sandy, who's a local girl, she lives out in the country, not far from Aberdeen, or did. She grew up there, and she does a great version of Crazy in Love, which I think is a Beyonce song, with the Brian Ferry Orchestra. So you recognize the tune, but its arrangement is as if it was recorded by an early jazz ensemble or a jazz orchestra in the late 20s, early 30s. Then we've got my friend, I love him to be my friend, but no, one of my favorite artists of all time is Jack White. So he does Love is Blindness is on the soundtrack. And yeah, we've got the XX doing the cover. No. Then we have XX doing Together. And we also have, I think, Florence and the Machine doing Over the Love. So, yeah. there's some great packaging of this. I think, I'm not sure if Third Man Records were involved or not, but there's a vinyl copy, and it's in this amazing box. And I think, the bits that are the Art Deco and inlaid, etc., are done in gold leaf or whatever, and it costs three small fortunes. But I don't think I'll be buying that, so I wanted the music anyway, which is great. And now, I was a huge fan of Plastic Beach by the Gorillaz. Bought it on CD and then on vinyl. The artwork is much better on the vinyl copy. And then I noticed that my friendly record store, Gold Star Records on Fountain Hall Road in Aberdeen, were selling a copy of this. I think it's a reissue. So this is the Gorillaz debut album. The artwork on the Gorillaz is always fabulous. The sort of spray paint job, etc., on the images, and love the artwork. The inner sleeves, fantastic. So we have Clint Eastwood was one of the singles taken from this, as was 192000 and what else? Rock the House and Tomorrow Comes Today. And yeah, quite a departure from Damon Albarn's Blur work. I can't remember if he did a couple of solo albums before Gorillaz, or whether the truly solo albums came after some of the Gorillaz ones. But yeah, we have contributions or guest appearances by Del the Funky Homo Sapien and Ibrahim Ferrer, and Chris France of the Tom Tom Club. And of course, the album is the animated band, and it was promoted using short videos and cartoons by Gorillaz co-creator, who is Jamie Hewlett. So that was good to have. And I'd bought that one, or committed to buying it, and together with another album that I'll show you, the one after next. So I'd committed to buy two records, and then I said, oh, did you still have a copy of Demon Days? Because I couldn't see it. And that was my big mistake, because yes, he did have a copy of Gorillaz Demon Days. So yeah, again, fantastic cartoon artwork. And yeah, we've got Dirty Harry and El Manana, and Dare and Demon Days. Lots of great tracks on it. And this time we've got contributions from De La Soul, Nena Cherry, Roots Manuva, Sean Ryder, Ike Turner, and Dennis Hopper. So I think Demon Days really cemented the idea of collaborations for Damon Albarn, and yeah, I think it was a #1 in the UK, #6 in the US, and it was released on the 11th of May 2005, and the Gorillaz debut album was from 2001, not A Space Odyssey, but just 2001, March 2001. Although I think the tracks had been recorded in 1999 and 2000. So, but yeah, a great concept, and yeah, it's great the way that artists want bounce off of one another to produce, alternative hip hop, trip hop, dub, Latin, punk rock, you name it, you'll find it, and art pop on Gorillaz albums. So really like those. And the final album I have to show you is Arc of a Diver by Steve Winwood. And this is a nice uh, recording, 1980. So it has got a lot of 1980s production techniques on it. Interesting to note that Steve Winwood plays all the instruments on the album. So yeah, really like this. And I think you'll probably all know the opening track on side one, which is While You See a Chance. And yeah, if you heard any of the other tracks, you would know, yeah, that's Steve Winwood. And yes, it's an early 1980s album. I'll be back before too long to do acquisitions and divestments Q3 2025. So I won't leave it so long. Yeah, I've been watching lots of YouTube videos. I like the Rick Beato series and his interviews with Dave Gilmore and Glyn Johns, and I've still to watch the John Fogerty one, but yeah, I'll be back before too long. Bye just now.